Talking to Brian Anderson, former big league pitcher, part of the Rays broadcast team. Brian, let's circle back to Corey Dickerson, which I thought it was an under the radar but a very savvy move that I don't think most of the mainstream fans really reacted to this offseason. But I did because I had him on my fantasy team a year ago, and I remember. I remember on my draft day, I'm like, guys, this kid's coming. He's going to be a star. I know they got Carr going too low at that point. I think he's the next star in Colorado, and everybody's like, my buddy's, you nuts. He's not that good. And in April, he comes out and he hits 330 with 5 jacks and 15 RBIs. Then he gets hurt. So if you prorate those numbers, especially in Tampa where you can hit, he might stare at 30 and 100. What is his ultimate upside? How good can he be statistically, do you think?
Well, I think that he can be one of those guys. It'll depend on how the Rays use him, and obviously they did not trade Jake McGee, who has been a mainstay and one of their top guys coming out of that bullpen the last few years. They're not going to give him up to bring a guy in to play him part-time. So he's going to be in the lineup quite a bit. How exactly they work all of that out, the outfield situation and the designated hitter situation remains to be seen. But the bottom line is they got him to add thump to the middle of that lineup. I absolutely could see him being a 30 and 100 guy, especially when you talk to the Rays coaching staff and they say this guy's power is jaw-dropping. I mean, the other way, left center field to right center field.
Easy
they
power.
Said it's legitimate foul pole to foul pole. He's very aggressive. He fits into the mold of the Rays' new approach of being very aggressive from pitch number one. And so I think that they are very excited about his potential. And I know that, like I said, when you get the coaching staff buzzing like that a week into spring training, you know that he's hit some balls that are tape measure.
Yeah, he's got easy power, especially the other ways you said. All right, assuming health here, Brian, predicted order of finish. I mean, is the general consensus the Orioles are, and I'll put quotes around this, the weakest team in the division? How do you see things shaping up in, as just a wide snapshot?
Well, you know what? Weak relative term. You're right. I think that the way it stacks out, that right now I would have, Baltimore down at the bottom, but yet that's still a very dangerous team. If they have their health and if their starting pitchers can regain their form from a couple of years ago, then they've got a chance, especially with the way that Buck Showalter has put together his bullpen and the way that he manages that bullpen. But right now I would say that they were trailing, and right now he's got to be concerned because they haven't gotten off to a great start here in the spring training schedule. But I really think that the Rays have that ability because of their starting staff, because of the fact that Alex Cobb can be an addition around the trade deadline without even having to make a trade. You get a guy who potentially could be your ace, your number two, added into that starting rotation. Bullpen's going to be big for the Rays, and obviously scoring runs, but I like that offense and their approach. I think that they can win the division. I think that they can win the division, and I think that they are going to shock some people.
You're not being a homer on us, are you, Brian? You're not being a homer, are you?
And listen, I would tell you, I'm not afraid. The one thing I am not afraid to do is tell it like it is, or tell it how I see it. And maybe last year I would have said, and maybe we can go back and visit the tape again. I don't think I had the Rays winning the division last year, but I really think that they can do that. Obviously, Boston is going to be dangerous. You think about Price at the front end, Kimbrel at the back end. If Sandoval and Ramirez can rebound, along with Bogarts and Betts, Ortiz is going to have a big final season. You think about their young catcher, Blake Swihart. They've got a chance to be very special. It's going to be a dogfight. And then Toronto, goes without saying, the middle of that lineup is a nightmare. And if they get any kind of pitching, they're going to be extremely tough to beat. So it's going to be a dogfight at the top with those three teams. And I think the New York Yankees, again, health is the issue with them. You think about Beltran, Teixeira, can they stay healthy? They got the youngsters up the middle, and Castro and Gregorius. Can Ellsbury stay healthy? Those are the big question marks. An older team, but a very savvy and a good team. And I think that 1 through 4 could really be any combination of those 4 teams. And with Baltimore at the back end right now, but I mean, nothing would surprise me in this division. But I really think that the Rays are going to end up on top.